All right, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to podcast number 3 with Cloth5. I think we're calling ourselves All In. We have Rick
God.
Mango Riley, Adrian Oberyn Montenegro, Charlie Lipsy, and Daniel Lee
Why don't we
Lamont.
fix this? Why don't we
Good
fix
morning,
this?
everyone.
Good morning.
Shall we hop
Hello.
right in and do this because we've been dilly-dallying long enough?
Yes, let's go.
Sounds
All
good.
right, let's
Down to
go.
business.
First on the agenda is Gamescom. It just happened. Who wants to start? International wildcard qualifiers, EU playoffs, talk about the wieners.
The wieners.
Yeah, the wieners.
Oh.
Talk about the wieners.
Charlie, you're the resident expert here.
Yeah, let's go, resident expert.
So, Gamescom happened in Germany this last weekend. It was great. Charlie's taking forever, so I'm going. We're hopping on this thing. We're doing EU first. Playoffs, guys. We went. We started out with semifinals between EG and
Alternate?
Alternate, correct. Sorry. I was pulling out my sheet here. EG and
Damn.
Alternate, and then Gambit and NIP. Gambit beat NIP, and EG ended up beating Alternate, which I called last week because I'm a
did.
genius. And then Fnatic and Lemon Dogs ended up beating the two of them. So what ended up being one of the most emotional moments in esports, for me, I was crying, almost, is EG and Gambit have to play against each other in order to decide who's going to World Finals. And that's ridiculous. Just the realization that one of the top teams from Season 2 would not even be going to the Season 3 World Championships over in LA was a little disconcerting.
Why?
Yeah, tell it to NA.
Yeah, I know, right? NA's like, all our teams are going to be gone.
Yeah.
All right,
It was
so-
just disconcerting because like EG and GG have been powerhouses for so long. Like EG season 2 like went to Worlds and was like taking games or a game I think off Korean teams and stuff. Like they were a good team, and then Gambit Gaming has been like kind of a staple ever since they exploded onto the scene mid season 2, early season 2. So they've been around, and just the realization that one of these teams that have been such a powerhouse in Season 2 wouldn't be attending Season 3 World Championship at all, kind of blew my mind. Like, they used to be so good, and now they're being forced to play against each other.
Well, the thing is, EG was always known for taking down Korean teams. They were in the Kimchi League. So, and they placed like,
boy.
they were in the, were they in the finals? Yeah, against Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they were always known for taking down Korean teams.
right. And then Gambit, I mean, I am Katowice, right? They ended up showing up. They lost like 6 straight games into the losers bracket, and then exploded out and won. I am Katowice, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, that was the first appearance of Shyvana jungle, the heavy counter jungle, come in, just take all your stuff routine.
Right, and so like that was kind of so like these teams have been either like trendsetters or have been like really strong powerhouses ever since they showed up, and then all of a sudden like they're playing against each other, and the loser doesn't get to go at all.
It's kind of how it goes, though, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's how it goes. It's just like those teams have been there for so long that like now that one of them isn't going to be able to go, I don't know. That hurt me a little bit. Gambit beat EG in that game.
So no more EG. Bye-bye.
No more EG. EG will not be attending Worlds. Gambit will be attending. And then Fnatic versus Lemon Dogs for the all-around #1 spot from EU. And naturally, my boy, Sex Peke from Fnatic shows up.
I had to-
and,
Wow.
taking out Lemon Dogs. So Sex Peke is doing work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote as Sex Peke went on and Fnatic to a 3-1 victory, I believe. I believe they dropped one game.
So then, who's going then to the top 3?
So top 3 are Gambit, Xpeke, and Fnatic, and then Lemon Dogs
All
will
right.
be the 3 attending Worlds.
Expect has his own team.
Yeah, well, it's
He is
Expect
the team.
and Fanatics.
That's a Fnatic. We go by attractiveness here. That's how we rate the team. So
Okay.
it's Xpeke and Fnatic, and then Alex Itch and Gambit, and then someone from Lemon Dog or something.
Whoever the mid lane is, because that seems to be the most important like player on the European teams. If you watch the games, like the farm on the mid lane, it's not something you'd ever see in NA. Like all the farm in NA, the farm will go to AD, but the Euro mids, they just get the most ridiculous farm numbers.
So I kind of wanted to touch on this real fast since we're here in EU and talking about Fnatic. Fnatic dropped and rated halfway through their season. Ended up picking up Yellow Star as support and then Pushu on AD carry. And now are number 1 in EU heading to Worlds with that roster. So did their change end up working out? Like, N-Rated's a great support, but what ended up, like, even without N-Rated, they ended up going to Worlds. And they actually probably did better towards the later half of their season than they did with N-Rated. So was dropping N-Rated a good decision?
I'm gonna vote yes on that one. It seems like synergy is kind of the big motivator for getting any kind of traction in going forward in standings. So you can have all great players, like top of the line players, but if there's no synergy between them, then it would stand to reason that they're not going anywhere. So I would say that yes, dropping in Rada was probably a boost to their synergy, and that's probably why they're heading to Worlds. It's my opinion. But, you know.
Yeah,
I think it has to deal with like Enrated's champion pool at the time, because as we saw like from previous games that he's played in, he was a big like Leona and Lulu player, and since he capitalized on those picks a lot of the time, Fnatic wasn't really able to get like a lot of wins when he was playing, and so I think this change in personality and like how their bot lane works did them a really big favor in the long run.
I think another thing, like the Fnatic roster change to bring in the 2 players to replace N-Rated, there's another interesting thing going on that could happen at Worlds involving Reckles, if I hear right, where he could be swapped in, and that could stir up Fnatic again. But with Fnatic's changes being for the positive, do you think moving Reckles in would be a good thing, Dan?
Yeah. From what I've seen from
I
Reckles,
think so,
Reckles is
yes.
God.
Yeah, Reckles, he's pretty damn good. I remember him from, what was he? He was at Worlds last year, right? Before they added the 18 or older thing?
No, they're bringing FPL 5.
Oh, it was IPL 5, that's what it was. Yeah, he was ripping things up with like Infinity Edge, PD Ezreal or something crazy.
Yeah, he ended up
Yeah.
joining an amateur team. I think he might still be on that amateur team, but he participated in some tournaments with it.
Oh, it's because of his age. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
Right.
he joined
He's
the Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, he joined like a sub tier like amateur team that wasn't in the LCS. Ended up going to some tournaments. I've watched a few of those VODs. The dude's ridiculous. He's got mechanics that are probably stronger than I would say any of the EU 80 carries. Definitely stronger than Genja's. Definitely stronger than Yellow Pete's. Definitely stronger than Pushu's. So yeah, I would say probably the strongest 80 carry mechanics out of anyone in EU. The only problem is he was 16 at the time. I think he's still 16. But the thing is, he turned 17 like literally 2 days before World starts. So at that point, he is able to compete. And so I believe Fnatic right now, if I read the tweet correctly, is in talks with Riot about getting Reckless out to the Worlds and having him compete with Fnatic. Which, if it's true, I have no idea what will happen because Reckless, if he's on point and Fnatic plays like they've been playing and they have synergy already because Reckless played with them for a long time, if they end up keeping that same synergy when they jump into Worlds.
Right, it's like a double-edged
Right.
sword. Like it could
Right.
be they just click again and they go crazy, and
Right.
no one will know how to deal with it because they haven't seen Reckles on the Fnatic team. So they'll be like, "Holy crap, the 80 carries like a gigantic threat compared to what it used to be." Not that Fuzu's bad by any means, but it's just like a different kind of threat.
Right. It'll
But
throw
also,
throw them for sure.
but also he's playing with a new support as well, because he was playing with Enrated last time that he was playing with Fnatic competitively, and now he has Yellow Star, so
Right.
there might be some issues there.
Right.
There could be, for the most part, from what I've seen from Yellow Star, I think he has the ability to adapt. So if someone gave Yellow Star Reckless, like even 2 or 3 days before, I think he could adapt his playstyle to a point where he would be able to compete with him.
Well, we shall certainly find out, won't we? Let's see. Shall we move on? Do you want to keep expounding on the subject, or do you want to move on to the TSM drama? It's up
I
to
think
you
we
guys.
need to move to. Wasn't it international wildcard now?
Oh, you're right. I
Yeah.
lied.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
skipped it.
Sorry. International wildcard qualifiers.
I think one of the favorites going in was Pain Gaming. But they actually didn't win. The winner of the wildcard was Gaming Gear EU. Oh
And
god, I accidentally clicked on your YouTube. It's a video of you getting up. What the fuck?
Wait, what?
Charlie,
Computers are too hard, guys. Please nerf.
I forgot how to computer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so GGEU is a winner of the wildcard, and they'll be representing the. I can't think of the country. Do you remember what country it was, Adrian?
Yeah, Lithuania. Well,
Yeah, that's it.
the
I couldn't
region
say
that
it.
they're
That's why I don't
representing
remember.
is the Commonwealth of Independent States, but
Yeah,
they're from
yeah.
Lithuania.
Yeah.
And they actually won the CIS championship when EU LCS held it at Moscow. So they're that team.
Well, like, from watching them play in the playoffs, they play like one specific comp, which consists of Zakrush on top, Orneon on mid, J4 in the jungle, and then Twitch Stone at bot lane. Their star player is a mid player. He either plays Oriana or Gragas throughout the whole tournament. So that's something to look out for. And they're extremely passive at level 1, so there's not too many invades or exciting level 1s. But their mid player is definitely the playmaker and the shot caller for the team.
Yeah, and just to characterize like the team as a whole, because I'm probably betting that no one really knows who they are. MBS typically likes to play like split push champions like Shen or Zac or like Tryndamere. I remember that one game on Tryndamere, he ended up carrying pretty hard for his team since they're losing all across the map. Their jungler, Elonir, I think? Yeah. He likes to counter jungle like 24/7. I'd say he definitely took some notes from Diamond. And as far as their bottom lane goes, like Deadly Brother and Inspiro, AD and support respectively, they're kind of like the weak link of the team. Do you think so, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
But
like,
their
on their-
mechanics are not bad though. They just don't really win their lane hard, but they normally do okay.
Yeah, they normally play like really passively, and
Yeah.
they're not ones to pick up kills on their own, and they usually lose their tower first too, even
So
in
would you
the
compare
2v2
them?
lane.
Would you compare them to like cop elements from like season 2 Curse, where they're just like they play passive, and if the jungler comes, they make a play, but otherwise they're just kind of there, just kind of
Yeah.
tread water.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Like, the melee laner is the focus of the team.
Right.
yeah, Mazarin, like if he gets fed, he can carry the games. He's like their focal point, but he's from the EU region, so of course EU player, of course
Right.
the mid player is going to be the strongest one. So, so what ended up happening is that they ended up playing Immunity in the semifinals. They 2-0'd them, and then they played Pain again in the finals and 2-0'd them again. So it was a pretty easy playoffs, I guess, for them. So they have secured that world spot. As far as compared to other EU teams, like that are actually in the LCS right now, I'm gonna have to say that they're probably like on the step below compared to the rest of them. Like you could tell that their communication was off sometimes, and like they didn't like synchronize ganks at the same time. What's that face that you're making, Charlie?
Oh, nothing. Someone told us to smile.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Charlie, like I know that you're watching some of the games. What did you think about like that comparison to EU to the rest of the EU teams like Fnatic, Gambit, and Lemon Dogs?
I just don't feel like they have a different playstyle. I just don't feel like they're very aggressive overall. Like
Yeah, so do you
getting
think
kill
that
wise and
they'll
shit.
be punished?
Yeah, I think definitely a more aggressive early game team can definitely punish them. And especially if you can't really ban out the mid laner that much. Oh, besides Oriana and Gregors, I haven't seen him play anything else. So maybe he could, maybe he can't. Maybe he has something to pull up his sleeve. We don't know that yet. But it's definitely, if you focus a mid laner on their team, chances are you'll probably do pretty well.
Yeah. And so, anyways, them taking the world qualifier spot was a pretty big upset to Pain Gaming since like everyone was banking on them taking it. And so I
Yeah.
feel sorry for our fellow Brazilians.
Wait.
Wait.
Brazil not number 1 this week.
Sadly.
Brazil.
So, yeah, that's about it for the international qualifier.
Cool. So GGEU is going. And then we have Fnatic and Lemon Dogs and Gambit Gaming from the EU LCS going. And then we go to NA now, I believe.
Yes.
Where we're looking at TSM's drama, I believe, if I remember correctly. We're just touching on it. We're not going to go too far into this.
Why won't we get
Because-
too far into it?
Well, the biggest reason is, one, because Dyrus has asked the community to drop it, and I'm going to try and respect his wishes as best I can. But I do want to touch on what happened and why exactly it went down and the way it did. But I also want to leave it a little bit off to the side because I know Dyrus wants the community to drop it so TSM can work on practicing and whatnot. So, with that in mind, for those who have not seen it, TSM, Dyrus was streaming when there were individuals talking in the background. I believe it was Reggie and Dan and then someone else. Turtle. And Dyrus asked them, not quite so kindly, to shut up, stating that it was interrupting his game and it was distracting. And so he said, shut up, rather loudly. And then Reggie asked, why did you say to shut up? And then from there, it just kind of devolved into a screaming match on stream.
It just escalated really quickly.
It did.
Right.
Really quickly.
Really quickly.
Dan looked really uncomfortable.
I did. I am.
No, the other one.
Yes.
Dan did.
Oh.
Also
You have to specify.
The world
Sorry.
does not revolve around you,
Too
Daniel.
many Dans.
Are you
Sorry.
sure? Twitter honeys. Oh no, he probably gets more Twitter honeys than I do. Anyway, we're gonna go back. So I have no idea where to even start with this. What the biggest thing was is that Dyrus was out of line asking them to shut up. He probably should have been nicer about it and asked them to move somewhere else instead of just shouting, shut up, which he didn't. But Reggie, I think, went way too far.
Yep.
I think he pushed the subject to the point where it was disrespectful not only to Dyrus and to Turtle and to Dan, but to all the TSM fans. Because Dyrus apologized, and Dyrus tried to remove himself from the situation after he realized he was incorrect, telling them to shut up, and Reggie kept pushing it.
Right. His
I
pursuit
don't
was the
think-
real issue there. Like,
Yeah.
he says, oh, I know Dyrus better than anyone. Then he should have known that pursuing it would get nothing out of it. Like, there's no
Right.
point in pursuing it if he claims to know Dyrus better. He just talk to him when he cools down. Like, it's obvious Dyrus had something bottled up, and that was like a trigger. So he should have just dropped it and talked to him after he cooled off.
I feel like at least not do it on stream. Like,
Yeah, at least that.
Right.
Don't make a spectacle of it.
yeah, that's what bothered me the most about it. Like, you can just maybe made him turn off the stream or something, or maybe save it for later. Just don't do it on like stream in front of live audience. That's asking for people to talk about it.
Yeah. User Fursgull says that Reggie will be what kills TSM. Do you have thoughts on that? Is there an agreement for this one?
I would say that.
I can see that. I can see that happening. I do.
It will eventually, yes. I don't know when or what exactly will trigger it, but at some point he will take it and he will push it too far and to the point that someone from the team will quit. Whether it be Dyrus, whether it be Xpecial, whether it be Turtles, he will push it so far with someone that they will not be able to take it anymore.
Or Chaos. Oh wait.
Well, you take
Oh,
it back.
too soon.
Like, take it back
Oh,
to the
ouch.
IPL 4 days. Like, a lot of the blame for losing some of the tournaments after that went to Rain Man. At least that's what he says. He says that the team would rag on him for the losses, and he pretty much just left in the middle of the night and just pieced out and didn't even tell them. So, like, to say that he hasn't already done it to some extent is wrong because it has like already happened a little bit. But I think it really depends on the success that they have in the next coming weeks. If they do well at Worlds, I think they'll come back season 4. I think they'll try to just kind of level out and keep going. But if they don't do well in Season 4, I would be very surprised if they have the same roster after Worlds.
First goal also brings up another interesting point that I think a lot of fans seem to forget when something like this comes up between teams in team fighting or disagreements with players, is that these guys have sponsor contracts. So whether or not they get along is irrelevant. They have sponsors paying them a lot of money to play this game, and just because they fight, or who knows, for all we know, it could be just like the old variety shows back in the 50s and 60s where everyone hated each other, but they had to keep going because they were under contract. We don't know what the actual dynamics are with these people. It could be that they already hate each other, and what we see is a barely contained simmer. But there's a lot of sponsorship and a lot of money riding on these people to play and play well. So I think that adds a lot of pressure to trying to keep your cool. And I think the thing that we saw with Dyrus and Reggie is something that, if not is a new thing, it has been building and will continue to build until the contracts are released. So it's a really interesting thing to see how they can deal with interpersonal relationships as well as pleasing a client, and that's part of being a professional is you have to deal with that.
I think the big thing is, on that same note, I think that the only reason Dyrus is asking the community to drop it so that TSM can focus is because of the fact that he knows he can't leave, and talking about how badly Reggie treated him doesn't do him any good.
Yeah, I agree. And they're also... Yeah, go ahead.
If they drop the subject, it actually aids TSM. If you stop talking about it and just let it go, which is why I don't want to get too in depth into this, it lets TSM improve as a team rather than just sitting on something that doesn't work out. But that's all I really want to say about that subject. It's not too particularly important to the league. I just wanted to touch on it because it was something that happened and is going to be something that talks about for Worlds, because they are playing against CLG, who has historically been a hard team for them.
It'll be really interesting to see how this, if it affects at all their synergy and maybe their game. Like, it'll be really curious to see if anything comes of it or not.
Right.
Aside from personal drama, what ended up happening on that same day is that they actually canceled a scrim, the C9 as well. And so, this is already affecting them as a team and not like as individuals. This is like harming their team, and it's even hurting their chances at Worlds if they have to drop scrims for practice,
Yeah.
So.
Right. So let's jump into packs, guys.
Hold on.
Jump into packs. What?
This. What I'm highlighting in the doc. I'm so confused. Reggie's reaction, Dyrus' reaction, nudie pics?
That was me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're just.
She wants nudie pics from Dyrus.
It's
she wants
true.
Dyrus's nudie pics.
I do.
All right.
That's scandalous.
It's just the fame sometimes.
I want Dan's nudie pics. No.
Oh god, the brothers. Oh, the
Right?
brothers.
Yeah.
Have them take it together for you.
Dan's nudie pics. Oh god. Okay. So we're gonna jump into PAX. PAX is coming up, guys.
It is.
Who's excited? Who's going to PAX? Hold up,
Me.
before we get too any farther. Who's going to PAX? I know you are, and then we also are a production lead / guy that doesn't get on camera because he's too shy.
Quick shot. Quick shot.
Mr. Quick Strike. Quick Shot.
Quick shot.
That's an EU caster, bruh. No, Quick Strike will be showing up as well. So if you do happen to be at PAX, fantastic. Make sure you try and find Lindsay and Quick, and they will chat with you about the podcast and all the silly things we do here.
It's true. I'll give you an uncomfortably long hug. For everyone involved. It'll be great. So PAX then. So we have the North America playoffs there, qualifiers. Is that correct?
Regionals.
Yeah.
is what they're
Regionals.
calling
Thank you.
it.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm excited. I'll be working, but
So should we just go ahead and talk about like the brackets and how we think they'll line up then?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Let's-
the crowd will buy that one, but okay. We'll go with it.
Okay. So, anyways, the first matchup coming up is going to be Team Curse versus Team Dig.
Yep.
How do you guys think
Curse.
that's?
I think Curse is gonna win.
really.
I'm going Dignitas. So
I'm going with Dignitas as well. Curse
I'm going for
Mariners.
Curse.
Do we have a split
I'm
panel?
I'm gonna say curse. They always have to end up fourth, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't
true.
win.
The
I'm
curse
going
of
with
fourth.
curse as well.
It is 3-2 to curse then.
Wow.
I mean, if they lose, they're not going to be third. They have to win this to get a chance to be third. I mean, fourth.
Oh,
God,
oh,
Daniel.
That's how it
Sorry,
works.
God.
That's math.
Yeah.
But
If they lose, they go to relegations.
I think it's
Right?
irrelevant because they're going to lose. I
I
personally
mean-
think.
we should just go back to last week and how strong they looked in the 4-1 Super Week. They looked like they were
Yeah.
on point. They looked like the curse that everyone thought they would be at the start of the season instead of how they stumbled out of the gates due to communication issues or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, they have a lot. They have an all-star support from EU
I mean,
and an all-star jungler from NA. As debatable as you want to bring up all-star stuff, they still have some very high-caliber players on their
As
team.
long as Curse doesn't try to do a Baron,
Yeah, right?
that's
Saints
it.
might.
I think they can win. Well, but then again,
Curse
they
and
can toss
Dignitas.
Dignitas is
Yeah.
afraid of
Curse
Baron.
and dude. So
See
just
a-
no one go to Baron. Baron
No
should
Baron.
just not be taking like get 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Baron's for newbies anyway. Buff who needs that.
Right? Who needs that, right?
Just fight with their items.
I think that Curse has been all over the map this entire season, and it's really kind of tricky to predict how they're going to perform. I don't. I mean, they have a lot of pressure now with that new Nissan sponsorship, so I mean that's a huge deal for esports in general. So
Yeah.
we have no way of knowing how that pressure affects them. I know for a fact that they're probably getting leaned on quite a bit to not suck, and but you know what, pressure affects people differently, so who knows. I personally, because they've been all over the place this season, I think Dig has this because they've been at least a little more even keeled. I mean, not fabulous, but they're a bit more predictable, I
Right.
think.
Both teams have had
Also
their up and
speaking-
downs.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. But also speaking from like a records standpoint, why are you pounding your fist, Mango? Are you angry?
Shit's
Keep going.
getting real.
Keep going.
He was probably gonna say what I was gonna say right now. They actually have a winning record against Dig. They're 3-1
Yeah.
against
Yep.
them, so
Yep.
they have that advantage.
They're
going
going
into-
down. Curse is gonna win, and then lose to C9. That's okay though.
Yeah, that's true. Regardless of whether or not
Yeah.
Curse wins or loses, they're not.
No, Save Vicious knows how to fight against the Korean players, and C9 plays like the Koreans.
We've seen Curse play against KT Roaster B. Don't remind you how that went.
Damn.
Okay, so
Frosty.
moving on to the other side, we have a Team Solomid against CLG.
Mm.
My bet is on CLG just because they feel
CLG.
Yeah,
CLG all the way.
4-0'd them during the season. They're not going through any giant shakeups in the public media right now.
Yep.
CLG is
playing
only gonna get
solid.
better, while
They're
TSM is
playing-
gonna get worse.
I agree, Charlie.
Exactly.
I agree. They have.
That's all that's happened all season. Is they're
Yeah.
just got, like you have Nia Tanso, who's AD from Marn in season 2, and he plays top lane as well as anyone in NA.
Nian
this
is
season.
so underrated. I think he's a fabulous player.
He really
I do
is.
too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna take anything from Dyrus. Like Dyrus, he is well deserved to have the amount of attention he gets for top laning, but both Vulcan and CLG's top laners, they are very underappreciated for
Yeah. I agree.
the amount of talent they have. I feel like
Well,
they just
I
get
remember
overlooked.
Monte Cristo tweeted how everyone in CLG really respect each other right after the TSM incident. So that helps.
Yeah, respect really goes a long way. If you don't have an environment of inclusion and mutual support, then it's really hard for you to kind of grow and build anything on a foundation. If it's all like infighting, like TSM is dealing with, it kind of shows in performance.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah,
What?
Charlie.
What the hell?
So definitely Cloud9 and Vulcan are playing. So we think then it's gonna be Cloud9 versus
Curse.
Dignitas, and
Curse.
Vulcan versus CLG.
CLG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, and then this might be a silly question, but at the end of everything, at the end of that road, I think it's gonna be Vulcan versus Cloud9, and I think
Yep.
Cloud9.
It'll be
Well,
Just cut to the
that
Cloud9.
chase.
depends. I think neither Dignitas or Curse would take Cloud9, but I think
Yeah.
CLG and Vulcan would be close.
Oh, interesting. Really?
I don't know
Why?
about that one.
Yeah, I think Vulcan's got it.
Yeah.
But why? Why, Charlie?
I don't know. I believe in Monte Cristo.
Believe in Monte Cristo, believe in
I do.
CLG.
Yeah.
From what I was reading, he was supposedly putting them through like a full like 2-week boot camp. Like it's supposed to be
Mhm.
super intensive. Whereas if it's true, CLG practices hard and boot camps hard and boot camps correctly, they could beat Vulcan. I have no problems with that. Like Nian's a beast. Like that triple kill
Well,
on
the
Elite
thing
is still
Yeah,
top
the
10
thing
is-
moment for me.
I think CLG has the potential to be Welcome. That's what I'm getting at.
Ah, okay.
We want to talk about potential. They have the potential to be Cloud9 too. They, if I
Wow.
remember right, went 2-2 on the season against Cloud9, and none of the
They
games
went
were really blowouts.
They went 1-3.
Was it 1-3?
Yeah, Vulcan was
then-
the one that went 2-2.
Oh, it was
went
Vulcan that went
2-2.
2-2. Yeah, I remember
So
one of them went 2-2.
that finals
one
match
1-3.
is going to be great if Vulcan
Well,
wins, because at that
see-
point you have Vulcan against
See,
C9.
going to Cloud9, they lost 3 games in the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 3 games that they lost was decided at level 1. Was
Yeah.
because bad level 1s.
That's true.
So if they do a good level 1, they're undefeatable, huh?
It
Yeah.
seems to be the way that they go if you watch. I mean, it's just like what Charlie was saying. Like level 1 seems to be more and more increasingly determining how games go, especially for teams like Cloud9, who rely so heavily on any lead and they really exploit it. So if they are at a disadvantage right out of the gates, they don't recover.
I mean, it's hard to
So-
recover when you lose like 2 or 3 kills at level 1, but yeah.
So at this point, we have like 3 different outcomes. We have Cloud9 versus Vulcan, Cloud9 versus CLG, or 2 different outcomes. That's all we have.
Yeah.
Cloud9 versus
Well-
Vulcan or Cloud9 versus CLG.
Well,
'cause
I think the top 3
Yeah.
teams are going to be CLG, Vulcan, Cloud9, because even if CLG loses to Vulcan, I think they can beat Curse Dig.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely. I
Without
would
a
agree with
doubt.
that.
So it's going to be Cloud9, Vulcan, CLG, top 3 going to Worlds.
Yep.
It would be a shocker otherwise, I believe.
I'll be an upset.
It would be a serious upset. I would be shocked if I would be floored.
I
And,
will eat my shoe.
Yeah, I would eat my shoe if Curse actually made it in the top 3.
On camera, on podcast.
On
Yeah.
Don't
podcast?
make promises you can't keep.
Oh God, the pressure.
Come on,
Uh,
Charlie. Are you a man?
I'm not keeping it. I'm not, no.
Do it, man up.
Charles, not man. Charles
Lindsay
is-
doesn't have to do it.
With that haircut, man, come on.
If Lindsay does it, I'll do it.
Jump off that bridge with me? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dagger, that's with me.
YOLO. So then let's talk about. Do you want to talk about the Worlds then, and how the tickets sold out in
Yeah.
under an hour?
Tickets sold out. 15,000 tickets for an esports event in under an hour.
And guess who got a good ticket? Not me.
I got a good ticket.
You did.
I got a great ticket.
What's your
We
ticket?
all hate you, by the
Can
way.
you share with the class?
Yeah, I am sitting in the floor 2 section in row 6. So I am literally in the first 6 right next to the stage in the middle section. I'm
a good section.
right there. It's a great. The tickets are like $2,000 now. So yeah, it's a great section.
Yeah, I saw them on StubHub. They were going pretty high already.
That's
Yeah.
nuts. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the highest I saw was a floor 2, row 4, so 2 rows in front of me, is going for $2,000.
What?
God,
Yeah.
it's
What?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's some shit right there.
So I'm the only person on the podcast crew to get a ticket. Thank you. But hopefully we can grab some press passes for these guys, and then that way we can have them show up as well. And I can meet my crew. We can do some silly things.
Right,
Have
please.
fun.
Silly
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, silly things. I don't know.
Like what?
No, it'd be good. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll go order stuff from Alberto's Burritos, and we can have
Oh, yeah.
some.
Is that a
Yeah,
racist
straight
That's
from my
silly?
kitchen.
because he's Mexican?
That's what you think is silly?
Straight from my kitchen, right?
Yeah,
you really
straight
are
from my
19. Jeez.
burritos.
Wow.
Alright, so speaking of worlds,
yeah,
how about we explain what happened in the OGN?
let's do that. Great segue, Mango. I like it.
So,
Oh yeah.
so getting to the Kimchi League,
Oh God.
Oh my God.
we had SKT1 versus MVP Ozone in the semifinals of last week, and the results weren't happy for me. I was heartbroken after the games. MVP Ozone managed to lose. They took the first game 1 easily. It was actually a really quick game, and they completely stomped SKT1. And then for the next 3 games, SKT just like turned up a different, like they just turned it on and then just completely won. and destroyed Ozone. It was so sad to watch. I really wanted Ozone to win, not only because I like Ozone, because I like SKT1 also, is the fact that because of Ozone didn't win, Najin Sword is pretty much getting a free pass to Worlds. Especially at the fact that Blaze wasn't able to stop them in the NLB. They won NLB finals with 100 points. Now they have what 600 points right now, which is the highest that anybody can possibly get at this moment. Nobody's gonna get more than 600. So Najin Sword is going to Worlds for sure.
Yeah, and besides that, it oh my gosh, it just crushes my dreams for both having like CJ teams going to Worlds. I mean, I know that it's already like past that fact, but I wanted like at least one of them to go.
They still can. Both of them still have a chance for third
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I just wanted both because I like both teams so much. But talking about the actual games, like coming into this series, MVP Ozone was at like a heavy disadvantage. Not because they played really badly throughout all of it. It was just because
I think they just got too cocky throughout the season.
yeah, because their last matchup was against CTU, and you could tell during those games that they weren't playing like up to their potential. You could tell that they were just kind of like solo queuing it around, and I think that they lost some of their edge coming into this series, and that could have been the reason why they lost the game. And also because during that first game, SKT won. They had two champions that had like a lot of ages, so there was like a lot of build up for that, and MVP Ozone just took advantage of that. Like throughout the later games, that just wasn't an issue.
Well, the thing is, SKT also has a really bad record against Ozone.
Yeah, I think it was what was it like 12-0 or something like that, or no?
Not that. I don't think they played that much. I know in the last playoffs there was 3-1 against
Yeah.
SKT, I believe. There was 3-0, 3-1, but they completely dominated the series.
So you think it's just a lack of preparation? Like they just didn't take it seriously.
Oh,
They were looking
yeah.
ahead.
I really think so.
They'll screw
They
you every
play
time.
sloppy.
Yeah, that's just a basic mistake in any competitive anything. You never look ahead past your opponent. You're like, oh,
Like
it's just
Yeah,
velocity, guys.
That's a level 1 mistake. Like really, like
whenever Mata played Fiddlesticks, he was fearing Shen in team fights. Like he was just making like these silly mistakes. Because at that point it was the last game, so at that point I think they just nerves. They were definitely just on tilt after losing the first two games.
Yeah. And so, like, moving on to the actual finals discussion, it's going to be SKT1 versus KT Roaster Bullets. My pick for winning OGN right now is going to be SKT1. Just because they've been... Oh, you disagree? What do you think, Charlie? You go ahead. Tell me your thoughts.
Charlie.
I think his mic broke.
I think
he's
he muted his
quiet
mic.
right now.
Oh,
I don't know if
didn't
he-
do it. Damn.
Yeah.
you can tell
Oh,
by
that's
the face.
it.
So.
Good at this.
The thing is, like one reasons I didn't like Najin Sword being in the world is because they're really inconsistent, and that's another problem with KT Roaster B.
Yeah.
But I still think KT Roaster B is really good. Like I think it'll be close. It'll be close. If they
Yeah,
can
well-
if they can put their shit together, they can definitely be SKT.
I'll still stick with SKT just because they're not robots, but they don't have like the emotional problems that KTV has. Like they go on tilt so easily. They lose one game, they're just like, all right, I don't care. Series is over. We lose. They just have like
Yeah.
the worst tilts that I've ever seen in
But
any.
they have the most creative strategies in Korea, though. Next to
Oh.
Reaper.
right. There's not gonna be.
Oh, you
jungle
mean that
fights.
jungle gangplank?
Wow, that's not.
Never seen that before.
Yeah,
Not
it
in
was
Season 1
terribly-
NA or
Never
anything.
gonna see it
Don't try
again.
it.
Never gonna see that again.
Don't try it, please.
Don't say never.
Never say
And
never.
so,
Let's
talking
say
about-
let's just put it this way. By the time the game is over, he pretty much just hit level 6.
Yeah.
And so talking about KT Roaster Bullets, I think that as a team they're very inconsistent, but from time to time they can like show flashes of brilliance. As far as their series against Frost went, I think part of that was just because Frost didn't recognize the counter pick between like Shen and Zach. I don't think that they'll have that much like I don't think they'll have that much of an easy time against SKT1 because they're recognizing that, hey, Zach is a really OP champion right now.
Well, that's not all of it. It's like the mid game is where they really lost hard because what does Frost excel at? Team fights. And
Yeah.
what did they get to do all 3 games is team fighting. They just got in skirmishes and just lost them. That's how most teams beat Frost, by just not forcing team fights and just catch people and
Right.
and forcing 2v2s or 3v3s, whatever.
The keys to beating Frost are very similar to beating EG/CLG/EU. They're like very strong 5v5 hive mind team fight team. But if you break them down into smaller bites to chew up and spit out, it's pretty easy to beat them. It seems.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why, like during the season 2 World Championships, that was like my favorite series to watch, just because it was like 2 big team fighting behemoths, like just
Yeah.
going at each other.
It was a big Clash of the Titans. I remember that.
Well, okay. Well, and go back to KTB. The reason I really have faith in them is because I think Inset and Kakao are such a consistent duo.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they've been
true.
showing consistent great results. That's the only reason I'm putting KTB over SKT right now. There are those 2 only reason.
2 people will make a team. I mean, they can try to carry, but it's gonna depend on everyone KTB showing up, not just 2 of them.
So yeah, that's about it for OGN right now.
So,
Right.
so for
Well,
OGN, who's
actually-
going? Or
Yeah,
who do
that's
we
what
think
I
is
was,
going to
I
go?
was just about to get in for the Kenshin League.
Damn.
Let's say, okay, we know that Nodrin Swords will be number 1 seed. There's no
Yes.
question about it. There's nothing, no question about it. If KT Bullets win, they will get second.
Hmm.
Okay.
And what
I
about
think-
their
I'm
third?
pretty sure. If SKT wins, I believe. Okay, if SKT wins and Ozone gets third, Ozone will go through, and SKT still has to fight for 3rd place.
Oh yeah.
Right. The OGN is different format, so
Yeah, they
it's
still
not
do.
so
They
simple.
still do it by
as-
circuit points. You can get
Right.
100 for win NLB, but if you advance to the semifinals in the OGN, you don't get to compete in NLB. That's how
Right.
it works. Because if you get 3rd place, it's 150 points, I believe. 2nd is 200, and 1st is 400, or is 3rd 100? I don't remember. One or the
Okay,
other.
so let's assume this scenario. Say that SKT1 does win OGN Summer. So that means the qualifier match playoffs is played, right?
Yeah.
And so, which team do you think makes it out of that to get the 3rd spot?
Ozone and SKT, and then Nodrin.
Not in.
Unless
Yeah.
Bullets come back. I mean, Bullets. Those 3 teams are really toss up. Bullets, SKT, and Ozone, because they all showed potential to be that good to make it to Worlds. It just matter. It's just how they're gonna play it out. I'm still really salty about Nodrin Sword.
Oh,
Yeah, I think everybody. is.
No one could
Good-
tell, man.
Salty.
Good job hiding it.
good to see there's non-biased coverage.
Non-biased
So
class.
If my
Okay,
team was
so-
still in the team, it would have been okay for me, but they're not, so I'm so salty. And
Okay, so quick 30-second
I'm not done.
on
I'm not done. I'm not done. Not done.
Unfortunately,
But the
Oh,
fact that they won NLB does mean something, though. I mean, they didn't play against a super strong team, but at least they won NLB, so I have some faith. Okay, I'm done.
Okay,
got it all out there.
China.
Champ.
30 seconds on China.
yes.
OMG is definitely going, from what I hear. Everyone's saying OMG is
Except that
gonna go.
visa issues.
Unless
as-
they have visa problems, yeah.
Right.
It's not
Yeah,
easy
they-
to get out of China, trust me. Gotta get on that boat.
You know,
Not
I mean,
easy
apparently
to
it was.
get out of China, trust me. Okay, so if OMG doesn't go, who's going?
I believe. That's hard. It's WE or IG. I think it's WE.
WE,
Yeah.
they have the experience. I mean, they were there last year, if I remember right. So
Yeah,
It'll
sure.
have to go by rankings. We'll have to see how the plays off go. We can't just. We don't know for sure now. Only
Right.
thing sure right now is OMG is gonna definitely go.
Yeah.
If the visa issues and the
Well,
problem.
yeah, Riot will make it work. You hate to see something like visas come in the way of the tournament.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Riot only has control over because the new considering esports as a real sport athlete thing.
Right.
They only watch for people like leaving out of US. I don't think that helps the people getting into US.
right.
because that's up to the Chinese government if they can let them leave or not.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So OMG, if they get past these visa issues, they're definitely going, and then everything else is going to shake out between World Elite and the rest of the teams in China.
Yeah, I think it'll be World Elite, or maybe
Okay.
IG, one or the other. Personally, I want IG and OMG. I think those two are the best two right now, the strongest. I don't think World Elite has showed too much improvement. They're definitely still improving. They're like TPA. They didn't get into season 3 well, but just because they're so good, they still play with the season 2 style and still winning.
Right.
Okay.
But they're not like the dominant scene in China anymore, obviously.
So, what do you think
So,
are the chances for Royals coming into Worlds?
For who? Royals?
Royals, yeah.
I don't think they're that strong.
Because
They're
right
like-
now they're tied for second
Are they?
in LPL. Yeah. They're tied with WE at like 11-7.
I don't know. They don't think they have the experience. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same thing we talked about the whole Fnatic deal, Fnatic Lemon Dogs, and we said, well, if that matchup ends up happening, who's going to win that? And you put your money on Fnatic because of the fact that they do have experience with that.
Yeah, and I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were. Well,
Is Charlie getting?
I
I feel like that was
thing?
influenced just a little bit by someone else on the panel here.
so it all just depends. I think experience is a big thing that a lot of people don't take into question. Is that like, okay, so you have a team that's amazing, that's been working together for like 4 months, and then you have a team that's like decently good that's been working together for 2 years, or that's great. I will always put my money probably on the team that's been together for 2 years, even
I
if they're
agree.
not as good as the first team, simply because the fact that there's a lot that goes into regional qualifiers, into playoffs that the newer or the less experienced teams don't or are not prepared for.
I agree. I think experience really counts for a lot, and people. It's also really underrated. So I agree.
Okay, so I'm looking at the IPL standings. IG, like a week or two ago, IG was like the top 3, but then they just recently fell down. So I guess IGs haven't been doing that well lately. I think that has a lot to do with PDD's car accident with his arm.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I still don't. I'll still pick WE over Royals any day. But okay, quickly, in 2 days there'll be the finals for the Hong Kong and Taiwan regionals for spot at Worlds. Not to confuse with C. That's a whole different thing. But the two people playing is Gamanea Bears and TPS. TPS has a 13-1 record in this tournament right now. So all they need, they have 1 win ahead in the best of 5. All they need is 2 more wins to be able to get to Worlds. I have complete faith in TPS. I think they'd be top 4 in Worlds. GG. Get screwed.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
GG screwed. Damn.
This is what we're talking about. Supportive.
All
This is
right.
why we do you when that comes up.
Right.
30-second joke bit. We're doing this 30 seconds. Input on the uni video released about the disbanding of Team Siren.
I'm a siren.
I'm a siren.
Do we have to talk about this?
I'm a
Really?
huntress. I'm not a star.
I'm a
Wow.
Siren.
Way to hop on
Huntress.
that bandwagon, Mango.
I'm all about
Yeah,
that.
man. What a bandwagon jumper.
Dude,
Jesus.
right? Who are
I
you?
thought it was hilarious. That's probably one of the funniest videos I've ever seen on YouTube
I
when
actually didn't-
relating to League.
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Oh, you're
I
missing
exactly-
out.
I know.
It's
It's
great.
pulled up on my browser. I need to watch that when we.
It's great.
I'm a siren eater, shark chaser. Awesome. And horror.
So, other than that, I think we covered everything. We hit China, we hit Korea, we hit NA, we hit EU. We talked about international wildcard. We were all generally attractive today.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Um,
We were upright and awake and alert.
Yeah, it's really early.
I don't even.
So with that in mind, shout outs to our sponsor GGLA for all their work that they do for us and all the hard work that we do for them. It's
Yep.
a mutual great dependency thing. And
Symbiosis.
then
Oh my god,
Uh,
you hit that was awesome.
That was good.
Yeah, we planned that. Keep going. This is awesome. I like watching you do the outro. Thanks for doing
yeah.
my job for me, by the way.
no problem.
Yeah,
Thanks
I'll
for all my fellow co-hosts, Charlie Lipsy, Adrian over in Montenegro, Rick Mango Riley, and me, Daniel Lee Lamond, here at the Cloth5 podcast only on Monday/Tuesday at some random time when we eventually get around to recording.
I might just chop liver over here. Am I just...
That's
You know what? We are so over.